when you send emails through Sales Nexus, through an email campaign like we just worked on a minute ago, right? Your from address will be whatever is in your My Record. So if I go over here to my profile and I go to My Record, that email is going to be the from address. I can change it to anything I want. I could change it to my Sales Nexus address or whatever. But you see the little red X? That's telling me that I don't have DKIM set up for the salesnexusteam.com domain. And DKIM is a authentication method that's become very important in the last couple of years. Google and Outlook and everybody else have kind of made it important. Essentially what it's doing is it's telling the internet that the emails that are sent by our system using your domain are legitimate. They're not somebody trying to pretend to be you and scam customers or something like that, right? So the setup for the DKIM is you go here to settings, email, and set up DKIM. You put in your domain, and then you hit validate, and it'll give you this little code, which you copy. And then you just click here, and you're going to get this step-by-step guide to, you got to log on to your DNS where you registered your domain name settings, and create a text record and paste that code into that text record. But while we're on this topic, one thing that most people miss is that this is a 4-step process. You got to go past just step 1 here because you need to set up SPF and a return domain. This is all the stuff that Google and Outlook have really started emphasizing in the last couple of years. So does that make sense? Questions about that?
Yeah, we have a guy that does a lot of IT work here too, so he's been helping me out with a lot of the domain stuff. A problem I encountered was that the domain I was trying to use wasn't, I guess, registered through Sales Nexus, or we had a different one that was already registered, or it's very confusing.
Well, so like if you go here, do you see the right domain?
Well, I put the wrong one in, so now I can't change it.
I see. Okay, you got to email our support team, and they can.
That's what we're working through. We're working through that right now.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I should be good for now. Thank you, Craig.
Sure. Let's see.
That brings up a question I had. I represent. I maintain a few different businesses, and so would I have to choose only one of my email addresses to use to do outreach with for each of the businesses? Or is there a way to set it up so that I could have this
right
recognized for all the domain names?
Right. Yeah, no, you can do multiple. The only limitation is that right now our system's just not built for that. So like Ethan was just referring to, you can put in your first domain, go through this process and get the DKIM validated for that domain. And then what you have to do is email our support team and tell them to clear this out for you. And you can put in a second domain and just repeat the process as many times as you need. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah. Thanks.
And then the just to be clear for everybody, the final piece of that is you also have to go to your My Record and change this email so that it matches that domain that you just set up the DKIM for, right? So you'll know you've done it right when you go here and you don't see a red X anymore. You see a green check mark. And then when you're talking about, sorry, go ahead.
So after we do that once for each of the businesses that we want to be able to represent, then we'd just be able to go in there and change that at will whenever we want to do a campaign without letting you know that, hey, we
That's
need you
right.
to clear that cache out so that we could put a new email in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And a couple of tricks that'll make life a little easier, I think. You can, when you're setting up your campaigns, you have some options. So if I go into one of these campaigns here, you notice that under user, it says current user Matt Market. And if I edit one of those steps up here, you see how it says from address, current user Matt Market. That's just because that's who I'm logged on as right now. I can change that and I can say, I want this to always come from Jerry, right? Or I can say, make it the contacts record manager, meaning I want it to always come from the salesperson that owns that particular contact. And so in this multiple brands or businesses situation that you're describing, you're going to most likely what you're going to want to do is create users in Sales Nexus for each brand, right? And then when you're creating a campaign, you'll just know if you're creating a campaign for brand A that Jerry is the user that is has the branda.com email address, and you just make him the from address. And that way you don't even have to change it, go and make changes anymore.